The morning sun cast golden rays through the tall windows of Adelaide Cottage as Prince William stood before an ornate mirror, adjusting his ceremonial uniform. The weight of the day ahead pressed upon his shoulders like the heavy fabric of his military dress. Today wasn't just any ordinary Saturday in May. It was the day his father would be crowned King Charles III, and William would officially step closer to his own destiny as the future monarch. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, moved gracefully around their bedroom, her movements precise yet unhurried despite the magnitude of the occasion. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment, working closely with royal stylists and protocol experts to ensure every detail would be perfect. Her elegant outfit had been chosen months in advance, each element carefully considered for its symbolic meaning and visual impact on the millions who would witness the historic ceremony. In the children's rooms down the hallway, 9-year-old Prince George was experiencing a mixture of excitement and nervous energy that only a young boy facing such an enormous public event could feel. As the second in line to the throne, George understood that today held special significance for his future, though the full weight of royal responsibility still seemed distant to his young mind. His younger siblings, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, were in varying states of readiness, with Charlotte showing remarkable composure for her 8 years while 5-year-old Louis bounced between anticipation and the typical restlessness of a child his age. The household staff moved with practiced efficiency, ensuring that every element of the family's preparation proceeded smoothly. Breakfast had been deliberately light, knowing that the day would be long and filled with formal proceedings that would leave little time for proper meals. William found himself checking his phone repeatedly, not for personal messages but for updates from the security teams and palace coordinators who were managing the intricate logistics of the day. Catherine took a moment to gather her children in the sitting room, explaining once more what they could expect during the procession and ceremony. She spoke in gentle, reassuring tones, helping them understand their roles while acknowledging that it was natural to feel both excited and a little overwhelmed. The children listened intently, asking questions about the timing, the crowds, and what they should do if they felt nervous during the long ceremony. As the family prepared to leave Adelaide Cottage, William paused to look at his wife and children, all dressed in their ceremonial finest. The sight filled him with a complex mixture of pride, love, and the sobering awareness that they were about to participate in a ceremony that would mark a pivotal moment in British history. The coronation would be watched by hundreds of millions of people around the world, and his family would be at the very center of it all. The final preparations included last-minute adjustments to clothing, final briefings from their private secretaries, and quiet words of encouragement between family members. Catherine helped Charlotte with a small detail on her outfit, while William knelt down to speak privately with Louis, offering gentle guidance and reassurance. George stood quietly, seeming to understand the gravity of the moment despite his young age. Outside Adelaide Cottage, the security detail waited with the official vehicles that would transport the Wales family to Westminster Abbey. The route had been planned and rehearsed multiple times, with every possible contingency considered. As they prepared to step outside their private home and into the public eye, each family member took a deep breath, knowing that the next several hours would be unlike anything they had experienced before. The morning air was crisp and clear as they made their final preparations to leave for Westminster Abbey, where history awaited them. The official motorcade pulled away from Adelaide Cottage with dignified precision, beginning the journey that would take the Wales family through London's ancient streets toward Westminster Abbey. William sat beside Catherine in the back of their state car, both parents maintaining composed expressions while privately marveling at the extraordinary scenes unfolding around them. The children occupied the seats facing them, their eyes wide with wonder as they witnessed the unprecedented scale of the crowds lining the route. Thousands upon thousands of people had gathered along the procession route, many having camped overnight to secure the best viewing positions. The sidewalks overflowed with spectators waving Union Jack flags, holding handmade signs and cheering enthusiastically as the royal convoy passed. Some had traveled from distant corners of the United Kingdom and beyond, making the coronation a truly international celebration that brought together people from countless backgrounds and nations. Princess Charlotte pressed her face to the window, fascinated by the sea of faces and the elaborate decorations that adorned every building along their path. Red, white, and blue bunting stretched between lampposts, while enormous screens had been erected at key locations to ensure that everyone could witness the historic ceremony. Street vendors moved through the crowd selling commemorative items, from small flags to elaborate royal memorabilia that would serve as lasting mementos of this remarkable day. Prince George observed the spectacle with the serious demeanor that often characterized his public appearances, though his eyes sparkled with genuine excitement. He had been briefed extensively about his role in the ceremony and understood the importance of maintaining proper royal protocol throughout the proceedings. His parents had spent considerable time preparing him for the attention he would receive as the future heir to the throne, helping him develop the confidence needed to handle such intense public scrutiny. Young Prince Louis, true to his spirited nature, alternated between waving enthusiastically at the crowds and asking rapid-fire questions about everything he observed. His innocent curiosity and natural charm had already made him a favorite among royal watchers, and today would likely add to his reputation as the most spontaneous member of the Wales family. Catherine and William exchanged knowing glances, fully aware that Louis's unpredictable nature could lead to memorable moments during the ceremony. As the motorcade approached the more historic sections of London, the architecture became increasingly grand and ceremonial. The buildings seemed to stand as silent witnesses to centuries of royal history, their stone facades decorated with elaborate coronation displays. Every window along the route was filled with spectators, some leaning precariously from upper floors to catch a glimpse of the passing royal family. The security presence was massive yet discreet, with officers positioned at regular intervals and helicopters circling overhead. Despite the enormous crowds and the complexity of the event, the atmosphere remained festive and celebratory rather than tense. The British public had embraced the coronation as a moment of national unity and pride, creating an environment of joyful anticipation that was palpable even from inside the protected royal vehicles. William found himself reflecting on the historical significance of the route they were traveling, the same paths that had been used for royal ceremonies for hundreds of years. His own memories of previous state occasions mingled with his awareness that today marked a new chapter in the monarchy's long story. The weight of tradition and the promise of the future seemed to converge in these moments as they drew closer to Westminster Abbey. Catherine maintained her characteristic grace and composure, occasionally pointing out significant landmarks to the children and helping them understand the magnitude of the celebration happening around them. Her calm presence provided stability for the entire family as they navigated this unprecedented experience together. The final approach to Westminster Abbey revealed the most spectacular crowds of all, with thousands of specially invited guests and dignitaries beginning to arrive for the ceremony itself. Westminster Abbey emerged before them like a magnificent stone cathedral, rising from centuries of English history, its Gothic spires reaching toward the cloudy London sky. The ancient building had been transformed for the coronation, with elaborate decorations and ceremonial preparations that honored both tradition and the significance of this historic day. As their vehicle approached the Abbey's entrance, William felt the full weight of the moment settling upon his shoulders like a royal mantle. The area surrounding Westminster Abbey bustled with carefully orchestrated activity as hundreds of distinguished guests made their way toward the entrance. World leaders, foreign royalty, religious figures, and representatives from across the Commonwealth had traveled to London specifically for this ceremony. The guest list read like a who's who of international diplomacy and nobility, each person playing their part in this grand celebration of British monarchy and constitutional tradition. Catherine stepped gracefully from their vehicle, her elegant outfit catching the light as photographers captured every moment of their arrival. She had chosen her ensemble with meticulous care, balancing respect for royal protocol with her own sophisticated sense of style. Every detail, from her jewelry to her accessories, had been selected to honor the solemnity of the occasion, while reflecting her role as the future queen consort. Prince George emerged from the car with remarkable composure for a 9-year-old boy, his formal attire perfectly fitted, and his demeanor appropriately serious for such a momentous occasion. He had been thoroughly prepared for the attention he would receive as the second in line to the throne, and his confident bearing demonstrated the careful training he had received in royal protocol and public behavior. Princess Charlotte followed with characteristic poise, her outfit chosen to reflect both her royal status and her age-appropriate innocence. At 8 years old, she displayed a natural grace that reminded many observers of her grandmother, the late Princess Diana, while also embodying the steady confidence that had become a hallmark of her mother's public persona. Her genuine smile and composed demeanor charmed the assembled crowd and photographers alike. Prince Louis bounded from the vehicle with the irrepressible energy that had made him a favorite among royal watchers worldwide. His 5-year-old enthusiasm was barely contained by the formal requirements of the occasion, and his parents exchanged knowing looks as they prepared to guide him through the ceremony ahead. His spontaneous nature had already provided memorable moments at previous royal events, and today promised to be no exception. The family paused briefly at the Abbey entrance, allowing photographers to capture official images before they proceeded inside for the ceremony. William placed a gentle hand on George's shoulder, offering quiet words of encouragement and guidance. Catherine smoothed Charlotte's outfit with maternal care, while keeping a watchful eye on Louis, who was clearly fascinated by the enormous crowds and elaborate preparations surrounding them. The sound of church bells echoed across London as other members of the royal family arrived in sequence, each entrance carefully timed according to strict ceremonial protocol. The Prince and Princess of Wales and their children would play central roles in the procession and ceremony, their positions reflecting their place in the line of succession and their importance to the future of the monarchy. Inside Westminster Abbey, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation as guests took their designated seats and the final preparations for the coronation ceremony were completed. The ancient building had witnessed countless royal ceremonies over the centuries, but today's coronation would mark a new chapter in its distinguished history. Elaborate floral arrangements, ceremonial decorations, and priceless religious artifacts transformed the sacred space into a setting worthy of crowning a new monarch. As the Wales family prepared to enter the Abbey and take their places for the ceremony, each member understood that they were about to witness and participate in a moment that would be remembered and studied for generations to come. The coronation represented not just the crowning of King Charles III, but also the continuation of a royal tradition that stretched back more than 1,000 years. The final moments before entering the Abbey were filled with quiet anticipation and family solidarity as they prepared to step into history together. The interior of Westminster Abbey had been transformed into a breathtaking cathedral of ceremony and tradition, with every architectural detail enhanced by elaborate decorations that honored the sacred nature of the coronation. As the Wales family took their designated positions, they found themselves surrounded by nearly 2,000 distinguished guests, each person carefully selected to witness this historic moment. The ancient stone walls seemed to pulse with the weight of centuries, as if the spirits of previous monarchs were present to witness the crowning of their successor. Prince George sat with remarkable stillness beside his parents, his young face reflecting the gravity of the occasion, while his eyes took in every detail of the extraordinary ceremony unfolding around him. The 9-year-old had been thoroughly prepared for this moment, understanding that his presence here represented not just his current position in the royal family, but also his future role as a monarch himself. His careful attention to the proceedings demonstrated the early signs of the responsibility he would one day carry. Princess Charlotte maintained perfect posture throughout the lengthy ceremony, her 8-year-old composure earning quiet admiration from those seated nearby. She had inherited her mother's natural grace and her father's sense of duty, creating a combination that served her well during the solemn moments of the coronation service. Her genuine interest in the religious and ceremonial aspects of the event showed a maturity beyond her years. Prince Louis provided moments of authentic charm that reminded everyone present that, despite the formality of the occasion, this was still a family witnessing the crowning of their beloved patriarch. His 5-year-old reactions to the elaborate pageantry ranged from wide-eyed wonder to occasional restlessness, requiring gentle guidance from his parents. His natural spontaneity brought human warmth to an otherwise highly formal ceremony. The Archbishop of Canterbury's voice echoed through the ancient abbey as he conducted the sacred rituals that would officially transform Charles from prince to king. William watched with deep emotion as his father participated in ceremonies that had remained essentially unchanged for centuries, knowing that he himself would one day undergo these same sacred rites. The continuity of tradition and the profound responsibility of monarchy weighed heavily on his mind as he observed the transformation taking place before him. Catherine sat with dignified elegance, her presence adding grace and modernity to the ancient ceremony, while still honoring the deep traditions being observed. Her role as the future queen consort was evident in her composed bearing and her careful attention to protocol, while her maternal instincts remained alert to her children's needs throughout the lengthy proceedings. She represented the perfect balance between respect for tradition and the evolving nature of the modern monarchy. The moment of crowning itself was breathtaking in its solemnity and significance, as St. Edward's crown was placed upon King Charles III's head amid centuries-old prayers and blessings. The weight of that ancient crown symbolized not just royal authority, but the enormous responsibility of leading a nation and serving as head of the Commonwealth. For William and his family, this moment marked their official transition to new roles within the royal hierarchy. Throughout the ceremony, the children demonstrated remarkable behavior that reflected their careful preparation and their understanding of the occasion's importance. George's serious attention to the proceedings, Charlotte's perfect posture and engaged expression, and even Louis's contained enthusiasm showed that the Wales family had successfully prepared their children for this historic moment. Their presence added a sense of continuity and hope for the future of the monarchy. The music that filled the abbey was magnificent, with centuries-old hymns and specially commissioned pieces creating an atmosphere of reverence and celebration. The combined voices of the abbey choir and orchestra created sounds that seemed to lift the very stones of the ancient building, adding emotional depth to the visual spectacle of the coronation ceremony. As the ceremony progressed through its various stages, each family member experienced their own personal reactions to witnessing history in the making. The combination of family pride, national significance, and personal responsibility created a complex emotional experience that would remain with them for the rest of their lives. The final moments of the coronation service prepared everyone present for the grand procession that would carry the newly crowned king and his family back through London streets in triumph. The doors of Westminster Abbey opened to reveal a London transformed into a sea of celebration, with thousands upon thousands of cheering spectators lining every inch of the procession route back to Buckingham Palace. The newly crowned King Charles III emerged first, wearing the imperial state crown and carrying the sovereign's orb and scepter, symbols of his divine right to rule. Behind him, the Wales family prepared to join the magnificent procession that would showcase the monarchy's continued relevance and the public's enduring affection for the royal family. William and Catherine took their positions in the ceremonial procession with practiced grace, their children arranged beside them in order of age and succession. Prince George walked with careful steps that reflected his understanding of the cameras capturing every moment and the millions of people watching around the world. His serious expression and measured pace demonstrated the early development of the royal bearing that would serve him throughout his life as a future monarch. Princess Charlotte moved through the procession with natural elegance, her smile genuine and warm as she acknowledged the cheering crowds lining the streets. Her confident demeanor and graceful movements reminded observers of her late grandmother, Princess Diana, while also showcasing the steady influence of her mother's guidance and training. The 8-year-old seemed to genuinely enjoy the spectacle and the positive energy radiating from the celebrating public. Prince Louis brought delightful spontaneity to the formal procession, his 5-year-old personality shining through despite the ceremonial nature of the occasion. His enthusiastic waves to the crowd and occasional comments to his siblings provided moments of authentic charm that humanized the grand spectacle. His parents maintained watchful guidance while allowing his natural personality to emerge, creating a perfect balance between protocol and childhood innocence. The procession route had been decorated with unprecedented elaborateness, featuring thousands of flags, banners, and ceremonial displays that transformed London into a festival of royal celebration. Every building along the path had been adorned with decorations honoring the new king and celebrating the continuity of the British monarchy. The visual spectacle created a backdrop worthy of the historic significance of the day's events. The crowds that lined the streets represented a remarkable cross-section of British society and international visitors, all united in their desire to witness this historic moment. People of all ages, backgrounds, and nationalities stood shoulder to shoulder, sharing in the excitement and national pride that the coronation had generated. Their enthusiastic cheering and flag-waving created an atmosphere of genuine celebration that was infectious to everyone participating in the procession. So, the royal family made their way through London's historic streets. The children experienced firsthand the extraordinary public affection for the monarchy and their family specifically. The overwhelming positive response from the crowds provided them with a powerful understanding of their special place in British society and the responsibility that comes with their royal status. Each child reacted to this attention in their own unique way, reflecting their individual personalities and levels of maturity. The security arrangements for the procession were massive, yet nearly invisible, allowing the celebration to proceed with a sense of joy and accessibility, while ensuring the safety of the royal family and the thousands of spectators. Police officers, military personnel, and security experts had spent months planning every detail of the route and crowd management, creating an environment where the public could safely celebrate this historic occasion. William found himself deeply moved by the public's enthusiastic response to his family and the monarchy in general. The genuine warmth and excitement radiating from the crowds reinforced his commitment to public service and his determination to modernize the monarchy while preserving its most meaningful traditions. The sight of his children, successfully navigating their first major royal procession, filled him with pride and confidence in their future roles. Catherine's grace and composure during the procession demonstrated her complete mastery of royal protocol and her natural ability to connect with the public. Her warm acknowledgments of the crowd and her careful attention to her children's comfort and behavior showed the perfect balance between her roles as future queen consort and devoted mother. Her presence added stability and elegance to the entire family's participation in this historic event. The final approach to Buckingham Palace revealed the largest crowds of the entire day, with tens of thousands of people gathered to welcome the newly crowned king and celebrate the continuation of the British monarchy. Buckingham Palace rose majestically before them as the royal procession completed its triumphant journey through London, the iconic building serving as the perfect backdrop for the culmination of this historic day. The palace forecourt was packed with thousands of spectators who had waited hours for this moment, their patience rewarded with the sight of the newly crowned King Charles III returning home with his family. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation, as everyone knew that the traditional balcony appearance would provide the perfect ending to an extraordinary day of celebration and ceremony. Inside the palace, the Wales family had a few precious moments to prepare for their final public appearance of the day. The children, who had maintained remarkable composure throughout the lengthy ceremony and procession, were beginning to show signs of the natural fatigue that comes with such an intense day of public attention. William and Catherine used these quiet minutes to check on each child individually, ensuring they felt comfortable and confident for the balcony appearance that millions of people around the world were eagerly awaiting. Prince George, despite his young age, seemed to understand the significance of the balcony moment and the tradition it represented. He had seen photographs and videos of previous royal balcony appearances throughout his life, and now he was about to become part of that same historic tradition. His serious expression reflected his awareness that this moment would be photographed and remembered for decades to come, marking his first major appearance as the future heir to the throne. Princess Charlotte's excitement was barely contained as she prepared for the balcony appearance. Her natural enthusiasm for public events shining through her careful royal training, she had particularly enjoyed the crowd's positive response during the procession, and seemed genuinely eager to acknowledge their continued celebration from the famous balcony. Her confidence and poise suggested that she was already developing the natural ability to connect with the public that would serve her well throughout her royal life. Prince Louis's energy remained high despite the long day, his 5-year-old stamina and excitement carrying him through what would have exhausted many adults. His spontaneous personality had already provided several memorable moments during the day's events, and his parents knew that the balcony appearance might well produce another charming display of his authentic character. They prepared him gently for the final public moment, while allowing room for his natural responses to emerge. The moment of stepping onto the famous balcony was breathtaking in its scope and emotional impact, as the sight of the massive crowd stretching toward the horizon took even the experienced royal family members by surprise. The sea of faces, flags, and celebration extended as far as the eye could see, with people packed into every available space around the palace and spilling into the surrounding parks and streets. The roar of cheering and applause was thunderous, creating a wall of sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of the palace. King Charles III stood at the center of the balcony in his coronation robes, the imperial state crown glittering in the afternoon light as he acknowledged the extraordinary public response to his coronation. Beside him, William and Catherine represented the future of the monarchy, their presence on the balcony symbolizing the continuity and stability that the royal family provides to the nation. Their children stood as living proof that the monarchy would continue for generations to come. The children's reactions to the massive crowd and overwhelming response created some of the most memorable moments of the entire day. George's careful waves and serious demeanor, Charlotte's genuine smiles and confident acknowledgments, and Louis's enthusiastic and sometimes unpredictable responses to the crowd all contributed to a balcony appearance that perfectly captured the humanity and accessibility of the modern royal family while honoring the ancient traditions of the monarchy. The traditional flyover by the Royal Air Force provided a spectacular conclusion to the day's public celebrations, with historic aircraft and modern jets creating formation displays that thrilled the enormous crowd below. The children looked up in wonder at the aerial display, their excitement genuine and infectious as they pointed out different aircraft to each other and their parents. The sight of the royal family sharing these moments of wonder and celebration created lasting images that would define the coronation day for years to come. As the balcony appearance concluded and the family prepared to return inside the palace, each member of the Wales family carried with them the memory of an extraordinary day that had marked not just the crowning of a new king, but also their own evolution into the next generation of royal leadership. The children had successfully navigated their first major royal event, demonstrating the preparation and character that would serve them well in their future roles. The coronation day had proven that the British monarchy remained a powerful force for unity and celebration, capable of bringing together millions of people in shared experience and national pride, while the Wales family had shown that they were ready to carry forward the traditions and responsibilities that would soon be theirs to bear.